You hear this phrase thrown around a lot, infinite energy. But what are we really talking about here? It's not some sci-fi fantasy. It's about redesigning your own personal operating system from the ground up. So, how does that even work? Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's just cut right to the chase. The whole idea boils down to one simple but really powerful question. When you think about your energy day in and day out, are you a battery or are you a solar panel?
And the difference between these two, it's huge. Think about it, a battery, right? It starts the day with 100%, a finite charge, and then it just runs down. To get more juice, it has to stop what it's doing and plug into something else. But a solar panel? Totally different game. A solar panel is a generator. As long as the sun's out, it's constantly creating its own power. It is self-sustaining. This is the mindset shift we're going to explore. Yeah, so that's the whole deal. This whole concept of infinite energy is really about making that conscious switch from being that battery that's always running low to becoming a solar panel. It's about designing a life that doesn't just spend energy, but one that actively generates it. And look, this isn't just some single neat trick. It's kind of this cool intersection of a few different things. It pulls from high-performance psychology, for sure, a little bit of what you might call spirituality, and even some, metaphorical physics. It's really a total shift in how you see everything, your life, your work, even your own well-being. Okay, so let's get practical. The first major principle is all about removing what we call internal friction. I want you to picture this. You're in your car, you're flooring the gas pedal, but the emergency brake is pulled up tight. You're burning a ton of fuel, the engine is screaming, but you're barely moving. That right there is what most of us are doing with our personal energy every single day. So the goal, the state we're aiming for, is something called frictionless flow. You know that feeling when you stop trying so damn hard because the engine is finally running the way it's supposed to? You're not pushing the car anymore. You're just steering it. Things just happen. They become effortless because there's nothing inside of you fighting back. So what does this friction actually look like in our day-to-day lives? Well, it's that voice of self-doubt that makes you second-guess every decision. It's the procrastination that just eats away at your willpower. It's those toxic relationships that literally feel like they suck the life out of you. And yeah, it's that physical sluggishness that makes getting off the couch feel like climbing a mountain. These are the emergency brakes we've got to learn to release. And the way you release them is by achieving what's called radical alignment. Just think about it for a second. If one part of you wants to build a business, but another part of you is terrified of failure, you're basically in an internal civil war. And that conflict, it is unbelievably draining. But when your actions, your words, and what you truly desire are all pointing in the exact same direction, you unlock a frankly terrifying amount of energy. And alignment also means you have to start plugging up these common energy leaks. Every single minute you spend on pointless gossip, or holding on to some old resentment, or stressing out about things you have absolutely no control over, it's like a tiny hole in your gas tank. You're just letting all this precious energy spill out onto the ground for no good reason. All right, so once you've started to remove that friction, the next step is to start generating your own momentum. This is the big shift, right? It's about going from being a side character in your own story, just reacting to whatever happens, to becoming the main character, the one who actually drives the plot forward. You know this person, right? We've all met them. The person who seems to have like 28 hours in their day. They're running a business, they never miss a gym session, they're always there for their friends, and somehow they still look completely rested. They're not superhuman. They've just figured out how to generate their own momentum. And that's really the core of it. It's this shift from being a consumer of energy, waiting for a good song to come on the radio to feel pumped up, to being a generator. The generator doesn't wait. They put on their own favorite album. They don't wait around for motivation to strike. They create it from within. They are the source. But here's the thing. This isn't just some abstract, think positive mindset. This internal momentum, it has to be built on a very real, very physical foundation. I mean, you can't run powerful software on busted hardware, right? You absolutely have to master your own biology first. And that biological peak really comes down to three main pillars. Number one, sleep. And I don't just mean getting more hours. I mean really dialing in your circadian rhythms, getting sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning so your body's internal clock is perfectly set for deep, restorative rest. Number two, metabolic flexibility. This is about training your body to use fat for fuel, not just sugar, so you can finally avoid those brutal afternoon energy crashes. And number 3, dopamine management. You have to protect that precious drive chemical. Choose earned rewards like crushing a workout over the cheap, easy hits you get from endlessly scrolling social media. You get these 3 things right, and you're building the literal fuel for the fire.
Okay, but before you get all excited and try to go full God mode with this, we have to talk about the warning label. Because this pursuit of a constant high energy state, it has a beautiful but also a potentially very, very dangerous dark side.
Yeah, the dark side. And I'm serious here. Chasing this feeling of boundless energy without putting up the right guardrails, well, it can lead you straight off a cliff, both mentally and physically.
It is so, so important to understand the difference between a healthy peak performance state and the clinical state of hypomania, which it can sometimes look like. See, peak performance is sustainable, it's grounded. Hypomania, on the other hand, it feels invincible. It makes you feel like you don't need sleep, and it almost always ends in a massive, devastating crash. The line between them can be dangerously thin, which is why radical self-awareness is absolutely non-negotiable.
Here's a way to think about it. This kind of energy is like a star. It's beautiful, it's powerful, it's an incredible source of life. But if it goes supernova, if it burns too hot without any containment, the result is just total destruction. The goal is to be a stable, life-giving sun, not some volatile star that burns itself out and leaves a crater where your life used to be.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We've looked at the principles, we've looked at the very real risks. What's the final verdict here? What does this all mean for you right now? You know, it really does all come back to this one simple shift. The core idea is to look at your life and just start identifying all the ways you're operating like a battery. Always draining down, always needing something external to recharge you. And then you start deliberately building the systems in your life to become a solar panel. Because that ultimately is the real goal. You want to design a life where your work, your hobbies, your relationships, the actual act of living doesn't drain you. It should charge you up. Your passion projects should be the things that fill your tank, not the things that empty it. So I'm going to leave you with this one question, just to make this real for you. Think back to those energy leaks we talked about. What is just one small leak? One piece of gossip you can avoid, one old resentment you can let go of, one worry you can release. What's one thing you can patch starting today? Because that is your very first step toward building the architecture of your own infinite energy.